Hello, my dear students. Welcome to biology class. In this session, we are going to discuss class 8 biology, chapter 3, reproduction in animals. What are the learning objective of this chapter? In this chapter, we will learn asexual reproduction, sexual reproduction, sexual reproduction in human beings, fertilization, embryonic growth and development, birth. So first of all, reproduction. Reproduction is an important characteristics of all living beings. Like plants, animals also reproduce. They produce young ones of their own kind to maintain and continue their race. For example, dogs, cats, and human beings all produce offsprings of their own kind. The process by which living beings give birth to their young ones of their own kind to maintain and continue their species is called reproduction. In animals, reproduction can occur in two primary ways, that is asexual and sexual. In asexual reproduction, only one individual produces the offsprings that are genetically identical to itself. It does not involve the fusion of the sex cells. So asexual reproduction is common in the lower organism like amoeba, hydra, and starfish. So the common methods of asexual reproduction are fission, budding, regeneration, and fragmentation. So first of all, we will discuss fission. So in this diagram, you can see this is the binary fission in paramecium. So first of all, what is fission? When a cell divides into two daughter cells, the division is called binary fission. As the name suggests, bi means two. So when a parent cell divides into two daughter cells, it is called binary fission. And we will discuss about the multiple fission also. During unfavorable conditions, some organisms develop a thick protective cover called cyst around themselves. Inside the cyst, the cell divides rapidly along with the division of the nucleus. When the conditions become favorable, the cyst ruptures and releases numerous daughter cells. This is called multiple fission. Next method of asexual reproduction is budding. In budding, as you're seeing in this diagram, in this, the hydra, this is the budding in hydra, they have shown by this diagram. So in this, as you can see here, a bud develops in the parent organism. And afterwards, this bud enlarges. And when it becomes fully mature, it just detaches from the parent plant. So budding, in this method of asexual reproduction, due to accumulation of cytoplasm, an outgrowth called bud appears on the body surface of an organism and gets detached later to lead an independent existence. So this is budding in hydra. Next is regeneration. In regeneration, a part of the body gets detached or cut due to accident or injury from the parent's body. It can regrow and develop into a completely new individual. It is carried out by multiplication of special cells which undergo changes and form similar types of cells and tissues like the original. Hydra, flatworm, starfish, and earthworm are capable of regenerating their lost parts. So hydra shows both budding as well as the regeneration. Next is fragmentation. It is very much common in planaria. So in fragmentation, the parent body breaks into distinct pieces where each piece regrows into a mature offspring and it is observed mainly in platforms and planarians. Now we are coming on to the sexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, we have discussed that only one parent is involved. There is no fusion of the sex cells. In the sexual reproduction, both the parents contribute one sex cell or gamete each to produce offspring. The male produces sperm and the female produces ova. When a sperm fuses with the ovum, a zygote is formed, which develops into an embryo. In some animals, such as birds and reptiles, the embryo grows outside the mother's body. In fishes and amphibians, the embryo develops inside the mother's body. And in higher animals, such as cows, dogs, and human beings, the embryo develops within the mother's body. Then sexual reproduction in human beings. Human beings are the most complex or highly developed animals. In human beings, the reproductive cells are produced in different organs called gonads. In a man, these organs are called testes, which produces sperms, and in women, these organs are called ovaries, which produces ova. Now we will discuss about the female reproductive system. So first you see this diagram. In this diagram, you can see one pair of ovaries are there. These are the ovaries. Then this is the uterus, uterus wall, cervix, and vagina. This is the oviduct, or another name of oviduct is fallopian tube. So in this, you can see in the female reproductive system consists of the following parts. Ovaries, these are the two whitish colored oval bodies located in the abdominal cavity. Inside each ovary, there are a group of cells called follicles. One mature ovum begins to develop after every 4 weeks, alternatively in these follicles. Oviduct. This is a funnel-shaped muscular tube present in each ovary. It is also called fallopian tube, and it passes the egg into the uterus. So this is the function of the oviduct, that it passes the eggs into the uterus. This one is uterus. It is a thick-walled, pear-shaped muscular hollow organ. Check-in within which the embryo develops into a baby. The fetus development occurs in the uterus only. It lies in the lower abdomen, behind and above the urinary bladder. The uterus narrows down into a small opening that is called the cervix. So just see here, this is the uterus and it's just become narrow, and this narrow portion is called the cervix. This is vagina. It is a wide muscular tube which receives the sperms. It also serves as the birth canal through which the mature baby is delivered. Now the function of each and every part. Each ovary produces eggs and 2 hormones. So very, very important here that ovary produces 2 hormones, and these hormones are estrogen and progesterone, which are responsible for the changes in the body during puberty. Puberty means maturity. Oviduct is a tube that serves as a pathway for an egg from the ovary to the uterus. So the ovary releases the egg, and this egg passes into this oviduct and comes to the uterus. And in the oviduct or the fallopian tube, the fertilization occurs, the fertilization of an egg with a sperm. Then function of uterus. It serves as a room for the developing embryo. Cervix is the lower part of the uterus, opens outside through the vagina. Vagina receives the sperms and also serve as a birth canal through which the mature baby is delivered. So this was the female reproductive system. Now we are coming on to the ovulation and the menstruation. So here in this first diagram, you can see that after attaining puberty, One egg gets matured after 28 to 30 days each month. This is called ovulation. So here in the A diagram, you can see the ovulation take place. That is, one egg gets matured. Then in the B, the matured egg is released from one of the ovaries. And in the C diagram, you can see the inner wall of the uterus gets thickened with increased supply of blood to receive the fertilized egg. Then in the D part, you can see that if the egg is not fertilized, the endometrium gets ruptured and blood along with the tissues comes out through vagina, and this flow is called the menstruation. Afterwards, we are coming on to the male reproductive system. In the male reproductive system, you will find that there are a pair of testes, vas deferens, urethra, and penis. So in this diagram, you can see this. This is the testis, the yellow color which you are finding. This is the scrotum, and this is the penis. Seminiferous tubules, epididymis, and here prostate gland and Cowper's gland are present, vas deferens and seminal vesicle. Testes are a pair of oval-shaped structure located outside the abdomen in a sac-like structure called scrotum. The temperature of the scrotum is lower by 2 to 3 degrees Celsius from the body temperature. That is essential for the maturation of the sperm. Testes also produce a large number of sperms in a slimy liquid called semen. Then vas deferens, it is the duct that connects testes to the urethra. This is the vas deferens here. It is connecting testes to the urethra. This is the urethra and this is the testis. So it is connecting testis to the urethra. This is urethra. Just see this one. So urethra is a small duct that passes through the penis. Semen from the testis passes through it and discharges into the female reproductive system. Penis is the male reproductive organ through which the sperms are discharged, and it is also used for discharging the urine. So two major functions are performed by the male reproductive system, that it produces the sperms and it delivers sperm to the reproductive tract of the female. After that, fertilization. Fertilization is the process by which a sperm nucleus fuses with an egg nucleus, and the product is zygote. After fertilization, the zygote undergoes continuous cell division to form an embryo, which grows and eventually produces a new multicellular organism. In the females, fertilization occurs in the fallopian tube or the oviduct. So here in this diagram, you can see that so many sperms are coming and attacking the ovum, but only one of them comes inside and rest are degenerated there only. So the head of the sperm cell contains one enzyme that make it possible to penetrate into the egg. Once the head of the sperm reaches inside the egg, the tail of the sperm falls off. The outside of the egg then thickens to prevent from the entering of the sperms. After fertilization, the single-celled zygote moves from the oviduct to the uterus and gets implanted in it for further development. Now, embryonic growth and development. After a zygote is formed, it undergoes numerous cell divisions to become a multicellular ball of cells called the blastocyst. It becomes embedded in the uterine wall for further development. Embedding and attachment of the multicellular blastocyst to the uterine wall is called implantation. So it is important here, what is implantation? The attachment of the blastocyst to the uterine wall is called implantation. Just after implantation, the embryo is attached to the uterus by a special structure called placenta. Through the placenta, embryo receives essential nutrients and oxygen from the mother's body. Carbon dioxide and other waste products also pass into the mother's blood through the placenta. The period of development of the fetus inside the uterus is called pregnancy. Then mechanism of the embryonic growth and development. Growth is a series of changes that a zygote undergoes to develop into an embryo. The fusion of sperm and egg nuclei to form a zygote. The zygote is a single-celled fertilized egg which divides and redivides to form a cluster of cells. These divisions of cells are called cleavage. In the cleavage, the cells divides to form gastrula. The whole process is called cell differentiation. The zygote grows into an embryo into a fetus into a baby, and a baby ultimately grows into an adult. Now, the birth. At the end of about 280 days, gestation, this is called the gestation period of 9 months. So after about 280 days, certain hormones start a series of contraction of the uterine muscles. These muscular contractions are called the labor. Contraction push the child out of the mother's body through the vagina. The full term of development of an embryo in the uterus is termed as gestation period. So children, now you will do all the exercise which is given in the book, and I hope you will understand the chapter. You will go through the chapter and just understand it and do the exercise. Thank you, children.